know that like 7 years ago when Israel had a drought, we were being told, don't water your lawns, you have to conserve your energy. In fact, the government gave a budget so that plumbers could go around and attach a thing to your faucet, which, without your even noticing it, uses half the quantity of water, and you really don't feel the effects. That doesn't work so well with the toilet, though. Tools to improve system accuracy and verification. Strains of ancient vines replanted. Yeah, you heard about that? Totally cool, huh? Right? They found seeds from 2,000 years ago, replanted it, and they have new ancient strains. Defense systems detecting and destroying income missiles, rockets. I want to say something about that, by the way. I know that there's a lot of bashing going around about Barack Obama, but the defense systems that we have now against short-range, medium-range, long-range rockets, okay, that was a special budget that was approved by Obama. And now we have a missile shield, which now, because of the perceived possible North Korean threat and the eventual Iranian threat, we now have a defense shield against all different forms of incoming rockets, including ICBMs. By the way, the United States has now, I understand, setting up systems in South Korea, Japan, also the west coast of the United States, and this is a cooperative U.S.-Israeli effort. Most of the technology in it is Israeli, but much of the funding is American. Okay, preventing power outages in high voltage grids. Okay, I guess that didn't work after the volcano, the hurricanes. The first Israeli nano satellite, biblical historical verification through archaeology, securing computer networks and information, didn't work. I had to redo my telephone today because it got bugged, but I guess it only works when you're in Israel. Disease detection, gene recognition, everyone, disease diagnostics. It's just scientific experimentation, artificial intelligence. Now, I know a lot of you have negative things to say about artificial intelligence, but I'll tell you something. It's like any discovery. It can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. If artificial intelligence can be used to give us the ideas of how to detect, treat, cure things like cancer, that's a good use. I'm not going to go into the negative uses because Pastor Nick says I have to be positive, and it's not my nature. Road accident prevention through mobile eye technology. The car that I rented, I thought that it was really messed up because I got on a 2-lane highway when I first rented the car in Atlanta, and a car came, cut right in front of me, and the car, boom, like slowed down and forced me, it's a rental car right out here, forced me to keep the proper distance between myself and the car in front of it. And I called up the rental agency. Guess what they told me? We have installed the mobile eye technology in this car. I can't get away from Israel. Robotics for spine, brain surgery, pharmaceuticals for dementia and Parkinson's, cancer research, detection and treatment, environment, climate studies, voice over internet platforms. Do you know how many of the programs that you use, like, WhatsApp, Skype, Waze, GPS Waves, all these things, they were originally developed. The first cell phone was developed by Motorola in Israel. This is amazing to see wounded soldiers, paraplegics, that put a vest on them, developed in Israel, and are able to walk. Treatment of MS, hearing, I'm going to need that. My kids tell me I already do need that. It's just, it's just endless. And I think I pointed this out the other day. IDF soldier feeding a Syrian baby brought over the border who lost her parents. I mean, this is the real heart of Israel. I already showed that. Oh, we didn't see that? You know, think about it. It's along the lines of what we have discussed before. Okay, let's go to our next. That's the end. Any of you seen this? Mr. President, the Iranian Ayatollah is on the phone. He says that Iran can stop the ISIS advance in Syria and Iraq. Great! What does he want from us? He's suggesting nuclear weapons. I'm a settler. I happen to live in Samaria. Well, we are usurpers, occupiers of Arab and Muslim lands. Georgia Republican Hank Johnson, a Democrat member of the House Armed Services Committee, compared the residents of Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria to termites. Don't I move pretty well for termites? I mean, even though I'm on crutches, I think I move quicker than they do, yeah? This is what he said. There has been a steady stream, almost like termites, that can get into a residence and eat before you know that you've been eaten up, and you fall in on yourself. There has been settlement activity that has marched forward with impunity at an ever-increasing rate to the point where it has become alarming. Israel, the great land usurper that has illegally colonized the whole Arab and Muslim Middle East. Oh my God, those colonizers, oi, oi, oi. The big bad neighborhood bully. I remember the last time that I was in Denmark, I had a little boy that was sitting like, I think, 2 rows back, and I blocked out the red, and I blew this way up, and I said, can you come up here and find Israel? Now, I kept the word Israel there, and he was up there for 5 minutes before he could find the great usurper of land. So the question is, who's threatening whom? And by the way, I want you to keep this in mind. Please end the unjust Jewish occupation of Arab land. Will you help me? Who said no? Because Israel is taking over the world. Beware! We're on the march. Folks, this is what it boils down to. It's all a matter of being able to distinguish between right and wrong. Which path are you going to take? I'll tell you, I have spoken in a lot of churches and fellowships and home groups and Israel groups and this and that over the last 25 years. I can tell you which way this fellowship, this church is taking. Unquestionably, you're taking the right way. Honestly, in this short period of, you're late. Can we let them come in? You missed all my jokes. But seriously, I have made so many friends since I've been here. It's really amazing. Pastor Nick and I, we have the same demented sense of humor. We've completely bonded. We make the same jokes. We say the same things about our wives, all positive. And isn't it a beautiful family? You guys are so lucky because he's such a man of vision. And you know what? And it's like, okay, is the cup empty or is the cup full? I'm going to tell you guys, your cup is full. And we need to expand this vision. We have talked about it. This word's got to get out. The thing is, we want to expand this vision, but we have no idea how to do it. So you got to pray. You got to pray that we figure out the way for Judah and Israel to walk together and to be able to reach out and tell the truth to everyone, because the church is still resisting the truth. The truth of the matter is that the church really has moved basically nowhere. This is the exception. How do we do it? I don't know, but I got news for you. Both your pastor and I are committed to being there when it happens. Okay, right and wrong. This is right. Let me give you an example of wrong. Cynthia McKinney, a former member of the House of the Representatives, also from Georgia. Don't you love it? My last reception speaking engagement this trip is in Georgia. But I have failed to get an appointment with either of these clowns. A former member of the House of Representatives, also from Georgia, posted on Twitter that Israel was complicit in the recent terror attacks in Nice and Munich. Do you know what that spanks of? Jews killing Christian children and using their blood for matzah. Jews responsible for the Black Plague in Europe that killed millions. Folks, it's happening all over again. So I'm going to make a commitment to you. When you have to run away from the people that are persecuting you, Israel's going to be the safest place for you to be. Okay? But I can't fit you. I'll work on it. But I'll tell you, you can't all fit in my house. But who? Bring your house with you, because you know what? I love your bathroom. It's really special. I mean, Linda, really, she comes in from Israel, opens up her refrigerator, And she says, you haven't eaten anything. It's because you didn't remember what was there before I came. Okay? I destroyed the evidence. I took out like 8 garbage bags full of food. And have you heard from your neighbor? Because I dumped it in their garbage. Cynthia, I got a message for you. In Isaiah, it says, they say that what is right is wrong, what is wrong is right, that black is white and white is black, bitter is sweet, sweet is bitter. We're not talking about this is white, this is black. We're talking about the human mind. Unable to distinguish between truths and non-truths. Let's take a look. Oh, the Middle East, it's a conflict. Oh, yeah. Well, both sides have what to say. Both sides have their opinions. Well, let's take a look at that. We're going to do something cool here. We're going to take the Hamas charter and see what they say, and we're going to take the Bible and see what the Bible says. And guess what? They say 2 totally different things. So anybody that comes to you and says, oh, Islam, Judaism, it doesn't matter. We're all one world. We all want peace. We all believe in the same God. Article 13 and 14 of Hamas Charter. There is no negotiated settlement. Jihad is the only answer. Article 14. The liberation of Palestine is the personal duty of every Palestinian. Article 31 describes Hamas as a humanistic, oh my God, humanistic movement which takes care of human rights and is guided by Islamic tolerance when dealing with the followers of other religions. Okay? You know why? Because none of us live by them. So they can be tolerant as long as there are no Jews or Christians living by them. Saudi Arabia, okay, Israel, you know how many churches there are? How many, what do you call those things? Minarets? Yeah, mosques, thank you. In Hebrew, it's misgad. Okay, come on, let's have a little Hebrew lesson. Misgad. Okay, you can forget that one and try this one. Knessia. That's church. You can retain that one. Get rid of the other one, retain this one. Okay, you go to Saudi Arabia? No. American soldiers that served in Saudi Arabia, they barely could pray as Christians on the army base. What does Mohammed Abbas say? If we want an independent state, I will not accept any single Israeli in our territories. So if there's no Israeli in their territories, it's very easy to be tolerant. What does it say in Ezekiel? But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they are at hand to come. And I will multiply men upon them, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste places shall be built. See, this is your biblical passport to Israel. Now we just have to get the Ministry of Interior to be cooperative. No big deal. Palestine is sacred, is a sacred waqf for all Muslims for all time. It cannot be relinquished by anyone. What does the Bible say? I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you, the whole land of Canaan. I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. Do you see any conflict between the two versions? Article 6. Hamas is uniquely Palestinian and strives to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. It's not just Judea, Samaria, East Jerusalem. For under the wing of Islam, followers of all religions can coexist in security and safety where their lives, possessions, and rights are concerned. As our children, I have explained to you, quite often say to us when they're trying to make us look like idiots, seriously? What does the Bible say about every inch? On the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, to your descendants I have given this land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. So people say, when are you going to get the rest of it? And I say, seriously? Okay, give us a break. We're trying to retain what we have. Keep the vision. It'll happen eventually. Especially if millions of you come, we're going to need more room. Because what does Israel do? The coastal area is jammed from Hadera to Gadara. The Jerusalem now is a city of almost 1 million. We are becoming overpopulated, that small little country we have. So we take the next most logical step. We give away more land. Because we love each other. We want to be crowded. Yeah. Whose land is it? It's God's land. God gave the custodial keys to Israel, never to be taken away. What is it? How is it every single person that comes to Israel that makes Aliyah? You remember the story of Abraham and Lot? Okay, Abraham, who's a real tzaddik, a righteous man, Lot, who's a lousy nephew. They come together, and their families are getting larger, their flocks, they're beginning to get upset with each other, there's some physical violence, they're rubbing each other against, anyhow. So Abraham comes to Lot, and he says, hey, nephew, tell you what, you can take any part of the land for your family and flocks. Wherever you choose to live, I'll pick up my flocks, I'll pick up my family, and I'll move them elsewhere. So what does that selfish Lot do? He takes the most fertile part of Israel, the Jordan Valley, where it is, I think, even hotter and more humid than it is in this state. But it is so rich, the soil is so rich, that you see people eating watermelon while they're driving. Okay, you can't text and drive, but you can eat watermelon and drive. And they spit the watermelon seeds out of the car, and if they come back, remember the location the following year, they see watermelons growing in the ground. No, I'm just kidding. They don't really. But that's how unbelievably fertile it is. Lot, being the selfish guy that he is, takes it. Why does Abraham say it's okay? I'm going to go up there to the Shomron, to Samaria, where it's rocky and it's rough and there's no modern irrigational techniques. I'm going to go up there. Why would he say something like that? Because it comes to teach us a lesson. If you have faith, if you step out and you trust God, it doesn't matter where you go, you will be blessed. How many churches have I been in? Uh-oh, this could get me in trouble. It's okay? where I've gone and I've said, I've heard the preacher say, if you sow into this ministry, you will get back tenfold. If you give, you get. You know what? We don't give to get. We give to be a blessing. Because you think about it simply, if we're not already blessed, we would have nothing to give. How can we be a blessing to others if we're not already blessed? Give to get. I have this great story, and I think I have a little, hey, when is that card going up? How far am I away from that? I'm so scared of card. Okay, because you put one up for the 15-yard line the other day, no? I was in Florida, invited to a church, pretty large church. And you know what the pastor said? He said, I'm going to prove to you that those that bless Israel will get blessed. He handed out donation cards. And he said, you put a check in for any amount that you want. You want $10,000? You'll get blessed tenfold. Or else in 30 days, you call up, tell me it hasn't been fulfilled, and I'll rip up your check. So people just made wild $1,000. Oh, I'm going to get back $10,000? Good deal. I can't even come close to that in the stock market in the next 10 years. And I went up to him afterwards and I said, no, don't want your money. He said, what? What do you mean? I said, because the only reason people are giving is so that they get back tenfold. You give because it's the right thing to do and you don't expect anything back. And since when is getting back's only definition is getting back financially? Maybe your marriages will be blessed. Maybe you won't get a disease or things. There are so many other ways of getting blessed. It's not only financial. And another member of the congregation who has since left that congregation was horrified. And I called him up about a month and a half later, and I said, just out of curiosity, because I know you were close with the leaders of the congregation, how many people got back tenfold? And he said, Eliezer, why are you even asking me that question? The pastor spent about a day ripping up about 400 checks. I've seen some interesting things over the last 25 years. So here's our message to the world. And this is a message you join us in giving them. Dear world, you never defended us when we were persecuted and murdered. So today, do not stand in our way when we defend ourselves. Line is being drawn in the sand. Which side are you on? And being on the right side doesn't mean just spewing words. It means combining words with action. And I listen, and we've been, back and forth, Pastor Nick and I, and boy, does he have that concept and that commitment down pat. I talked about how 5 years in a row I spent touring Auschwitz and Birkenau with Christian friends in Europe. And I got to tell you, I would love to be able to say, hey, let's organize a tour. I'll meet you in Europe. Let's experience it together. I'm not prepared to go back again. Been there 5 times emotionally. I don't know if I can handle it again. But if I do, I'm going to meet you there in January. You are going to freeze yourself to death. It is so cold. After that experience, you will say, I don't want anything to do with him again. Boots on the ground. I want to play right now 3 videos. The first video, you all know about Hayovel. I want to introduce another ministry. It should be number 1 on on the whatever I gave you, the disk on key. In Hebrew, you want to learn, do you know what a USB thing is? It's called disk on key. Hebrew is very, very difficult to learn. You know what? Hold it just a second. You know what the word for telephone is? Telephone. Okay, actually, when Eliezer Ben Yehuda put together the first Hebrew dictionary, he had all these modern terms that he had to deal with that didn't exist in ancient, 2,000 years ago. And so what did he call the telephone? It's very interesting, very logical. He called it Sach Rachok. Sach means discussion. Rachok means from afar. Okay, but nobody, if you go up to an Israeli and you say, hey, can I use your Sach Rachok? They'll look at you. Okay, can we put on the first one, please, and maybe turn these lights off?
Going on a journey towards the promised land with the children of Israel at their heels. Joshua and his friend for the nations, Caleb, walking through this Jordan River on dry ground. And then as the pioneers pioneered this land, this Jordan Valley, we're seeing it come to life in restoration right now as Jew and Gentile work together. Welcome to the Galilee of the nations prophesied in Isaiah. My name is Chaim Mailspin. I'm a Galilean, and I'm standing in an old abandoned boarding school founded in 1949, right after the founding of the State of Israel, abandoned, though, in 2008, awaiting its restoration. This old boarding school here at Beit Tehila actually means the house of the seed, the casing of the seed. I, as a Galilean, a Jewish Galilean who made my journey home, my prophetic historic aliyah, am excited to see this seed be watered and cultivated by nations from all over the world.
Why are we working together for Israel? Because God said it. He spoke it through his prophets. We've been given the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and now the courage to be faithful towards it.
Found in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. There's 4 things that we see there. Number 1, God will restore Israel to their land. Number 2, the foreigners, the nations will unite with the family of Israel. Number 3, the nations will bring the Jewish people here to our homeland, to our place. And number 4, those nations will settle them in their land and serve the restoration of Israel.
We truly believe it's unprecedented that Jews and Christians are working together for Israel. Right here. Yes, the Jewish Agency, really the largest organization for Aliyah for this nation, has agreed to collaborate and work together strategically with Christians from the nations with the Aliyah Return Center.
In Israel's short history, the Jewish Agency has played a major role to help the Jewish people home, help them get established in business, and teach them a language. I mean, that's 102 different nations speaking 88 different languages and now having to learn Hebrew. And they wanted to do all that here in the north. As the Aliyah Return Center, recognizing that we needed to help return the Jewish people home, help them to get planted, and help them learn the language, there's no better fit than this joint enterprise.
Imagine the Jewish Agency working together with the Aliyah Return Center, Christians. We are renovating all these buildings. This is a $10 million project. It's vast, it's huge. This is groundbreaking stuff. Christians and Jews working together in the works of Aliyah.
A campus renewed. The very seed that was planted here when Israel was born in 1949, teaching and training the new immigrants, is once again growing. This seed is planted here in this land, and the opportunity is endless.
What's more is we have Christian Arabs living together with Israeli Jews right here. Can you imagine Christian Arabs living together with Israeli Jews before they go into the IDF? That's all happening right here.
It says in Isaiah 49, verse 22, that God will raise his banner, his flag, to the nations, and they will bring the Jewish people in their arms and on their shoulders. I see a unity of a Jew and a Gentile here as that banner is raised for all the nations to see.
This is an unbelievable time to be a part of what God's asking us to do, and you can be a part of it. You can be a part of seeing the entrepreneurial school, the pre-army for Christian Arabs and Jews for the lone soldiers that would be here, and volunteers that come from the nations to serve. Yes, help us build and sustain this work for the glory and the honor of His name. Unite in working together for Israel.
Weather very similar to what you have in Florida, hot and very humid. It's the Jordan Valley, and you can try my little thing out where you can spit the watermelon seeds and then come back a year later and see if they actually grow it. And now, of course, everywhere I go, I promote Hayovel because this is like my extended family. There's really not a single engagement, betrothal that Ellen and I don't know about that goes on there. Okay? Were you up there when Aaron and Matilda got engaged? It happened 19th? Okay, because I went up to Aaron. We're just having a little side discussion here about Christian matchmaking in the land. May the Lord protect them. Okay, so, we've become like little yentas together. It was so cool because they came up to Ellen and I when we spoke to them a couple of weeks ago, and we just gave them a big bear hug. We're so excited for them. I'm just really sorry I missed the betrothal party because I was here, but I think Ellen did go. Okay, that's enough of that side conversation. Okay, now I'm going to just show, and their multimedia team is amazing. But you see, when you go there, they teach you so much. You just become, you're like transformed. Wouldn't you say so? Never the same. You are transformed. And then for the rest of your life, you wear the exact same Hayovel shirt. Oh, you have 4? Okay, I'm really glad to hear that. So let's just show a little, what is it, about a 2.5? Who else, other from the Magnificent Seven? I know I saw pictures of you picking grapes. Happy. It was so cool. I mean, like, isn't it transformative? Yeah. Yeah, you love to get that gook underneath your fingernails. Yeah, right? You think you finally got it off? I thought you'd never take a shower. Okay. Okay, so let's play from Hayovel, please.
Does the Bible ever get old? Does it seem like we're always talking about how picking grapes in Israel is a direct fulfillment of prophecy? Well, here's another question for you. How could 200 Christian Zionists from the United States, Canada, Sweden, Colombia, Latvia, and even Bulgaria come to the most hotly contested piece of real estate in the entire world to do just one thing? And that's to pick grapes. Is this a coincidence or maybe a nice humanitarian volunteer trip? Or could it be something more?
Jeremiah Tubbs. I'm from Toccoa, Georgia.
My name is Richard Crombie from Vancouver, Canada.
Hi, my name is Evan Machulis, and I'm from Orlando, Florida.
I'm Christopher Carroll from San Antonio, Texas.
My name is Chris Kramer, and I'm from Texas.
Matilda from Stockholm, Sweden.
My name is Carolyn Harrell, and I'm from Florida.
My name is Baiva, and I'm from Latvia.
I'm Raivika from Latvia.
My name is Val Boyanov. I was born and living in Bulgaria. Now I'm living in United Arab Emirates.
Sherelle from Kansas City, Missouri.
Mi nombre es Víctor, vengo de Colombia y estoy contento aquí recogiendo uvas, compartiendo con ustedes.
Do you see this cluster of grapes? When the 12 spies returned back to the people of Israel in the desert, they were carrying a huge cluster of grapes from this very area that I'm standing in this morning. 10 of the spies chose to focus on the negativity of the land, but 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, brought a message that the land was good. Thousands of years later, there are Christian Zionist volunteers harvesting grapes in the Judean hills this morning in the very same place that first cluster of grapes came from. In 3 weeks' time, these people will be returning back to the nations with an unforgettable experience. And their message to the rest of the world will be that the land is good.
Well, we're almost finished, and I'll just tell you that for so many years, everyone would come up and say, I love you, I love you, we love you, we love you. And like we Jews, we don't go around saying we love you to everyone. You know, it like made me really uncomfortable. But I got to tell you something. I really love you guys. And every one of those people that go up there and they spend their hard-earned money in order to sweat and get filthy and watch me wave to them from my air-conditioned car, you know, I love them too because the ground is shaking. Something's happening. This could have never happened. We wouldn't allow it. Israel wouldn't allow it to happen 12, 13 years ago, but it's happening here. It's happening with the return ministries and people from all over the world. Latvia, Bulgaria. Do you know what the median income is in Latvia and Bulgaria? Like $400 a month. How do they get there? It's so exciting. So all I can say is most places I go, I speak, that's the end of it, and I just really, the reality is we ain't going anywhere. But here, after spending time with Pastor Nick and with you, we don't know exactly where or how we're going, but we're going. And I'm going to end on a total upbeat. And hey, folks, can we get this picture up there? I guess we can't. There it is. Okay. I think about all the time how strong we will be and can be with you. And this congregation truly is what I call the remnant